Okay, great. Again, this is going to be for TV Grapevine. So the first question is, how would you describe Lulu is a rhinoceros?
Lulu is a Rhinoceros is an empowering pop musical family event that is about kindness and courage and embracing your true self. In Lulu is a Rhinoceros, we have a confident rhino, Lulu, at the center of the story. And at the beginning of the special, she says, I'm brave, I'm kind, and I love who I am. And she goes out to Central Park. We wrote the story and set the story in New York City since we're both born and raised New Yorkers. And on her way to the park to celebrate Community Unity Day, which is her favorite holiday about kindness, she encounters doubters. She encounters those who question her or bully her or don't listen to her, and she is thrown off. Her confidence is shaken. She gets insecure. And so she embarks on this kind of misguided quest to prove that she is a rhino, even though she already is. And so at the end of the story, after meeting the right friends and allies, and kind of getting the right like lessons and reminders at the right time, she realizes what she has known all, not re-realizes, she realizes what she's known all along, which is she is perfect as she is. She doesn't need to change for anybody else. If she loves who she is, that is all that matters. And so hopefully it will be enjoyed by all ages. It really is for the whole family, and it's full of themes and characters and songs that everybody should be able to connect to and relate to.
Awesome. And how did you come up with the idea?
The
The
special is based on a book that was originally my dad's idea almost 10 years ago.
yeah, and do you want the origin of the special or the book or both?
Both would be great.
So the origin of the book came sprang from a trip I took to Africa around 2015. No, sorry, 2016, something like that. 2016, where I was working with an organization that's working to save the rhinos from extinction. And growing up, I loved dinosaurs. And as a result, I love rhinos because rhinos are like living dinosaurs to me. They haven't evolved in 50 million years. They kind of look like dinosaurs, and they don't have any natural enemies, but now they're threatened with extinction because of human greed and superstition. And so I got to be up close and personal with rhinos in the wild, and it was just a magical experience. As you can imagine, I came home from the trip, and I was sitting on the couch with my bulldog Lulu, and I was talking to her about the trip because, let's face it, we all talk to our pets, and I'm not ashamed to admit. And this time, she looked at me with her big eyes, and she said, "Well, can't you see I'm a rhinoceros too?" And I was like, "What are you talking about? You're obviously a dog. You're small and furry, and you're on my couch." And she looks me back and says, can't you see? I have short legs, a big body, and a flat head. I only run fast for short distances, and I'm clumsy. And I burp and snore and fart like a rhino. I'm a rhino. And I dawned on me, wow, they have more in common than I ever could have imagined. And so I thought, well, let's tell the story and see if we can create a positive impact for people who need a little hero, like Lulu, kids who feel left out, put down, or bullied because of the way they look, the way they feel, or the way they are. So I called Allison because she's an actual writer and she's my daughter because I knew she couldn't say no and wouldn't say no. And I asked her, she's been writing since she was a little kid. She studied writing in school, and she didn't hesitate. And we wrote the book, and then magic just happened from there.
I love what you said about um, having much more in common than they know, because I think that ended up being a central theme in the story, especially in the special, because we have Finn, who is our kind of lovable pigeon antagonist, who continues to see Lulu in these moments of like winning. And he makes the interpretation like her life must be great and everything seems so easy for her. And he has this song asking, why is everyone so much happier than me? Because that really is how he feels. And I think we can all relate to that. But that reminds us that like we never see the whole picture of what someone else is experiencing. And so we create conflict when we make judgments or make assumptions instead of choosing curiosity and listening. And so I think there is hopefully this central idea in the special too of like when we can listen to someone and understand someone, we can better include them. And listen, yeah.
And then both people benefit, right? Like in the show, we find that Finn, who has misinterpreted the information because she's only getting a partial picture, right?
Yeah.
And so often when we feel jealous of someone else or envious, we are again only seeing a slice of the overall pie. And so Finn finds out that Lulu is not just on this crazy winning streak and her life is not a bowl of cherries.
And they have a lot more in common than they ever could have realized, which is only found out when they connect and actually listen to each other.
And the funny thing is, what I learned in my life a long time ago is that when we are able to have a positive impact on someone else, whether on their day or their week or their life, the person who does the is on the sort of the giving end of that experiences a type of joy that can only come from helping an animal, a person, a living thing. And so that's one of the things I hope people take away from the special and the book.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Next question is, do you relate to any of the characters, or if not, which one do you wish that you related to?
Hopefully, everyone will be able to relate to all the characters. I think each of the 5 central characters represents like a kind of important thematic aspect of the story. Even like we both love Hip Hop the Beatboxing Bunny because he is just ready to blindly follow whatever Lulu says. And he's kind of an immediate, just great friend to her. But even Hip Hop the Beatboxing Bunny, who may seem simple, and this is just how he is, he sings in the final song about himself. He says, "There's an impressive bunny I know who's never praised on his merits. He's smart and mighty, not cute and little and allergic to carrots." And that's like a small thing that kind of epitomizes that character too, because we might imagine like bunnies like eating a carrot like in classic like books or cartoons, and he's saying like, I'm nothing like the stereotype or what you might assume that I am. I have all this other stuff going on too. So I think we relate to each character, and we relate to Corey and her kind of rose-colored glasses, where she sees the world like you can just decide that the day is starting right now, and then it is, and then you'll be fine. But the thing with Corey is that she is so well intended, and Alex Newell obviously has the best voice in the entire world, and they bring like a just like a unbounded joy to the character. And it might not be the best advice. You can't always just like pretend that you don't have problems and start the day again. But it works because at the end of the song, Lulu ends up getting to the park, which is where she set out to get to. So I think there's a little bit of both of us in each of the characters.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to pick a favorite character, it's hard. I think it's probably Lulu, because Lulu's the one who started it all, and she is she's courageous and kind and optimistic, and a lot of the things that I try to be are embodied in her, and so and she's a lot tougher than she seems. She's I think she's a really good role model because she perseveres, and she while being knocked off her stride, she ultimately stays true to herself, and maintains her focus on you know on just rising above, whatever you want to call it, what's that word I'm looking for? I'm challenged right now. Too many words today.
Well, she has grace.
Transcending, yeah, she transcends.
Awesome. What were the biggest challenges of doing this project, and what were some of the most memorable moments from working on this project?
Um,
Well, for memorable moments, there have been so many. The first one that comes to mind was when I got the first really incredible positive affirmation, which was shortly after we published the book, because it was an published, independently published book. And I got a note from a friend of mine who had the book on her nightstand, and I didn't know this at the time, but her son had been experiencing extreme difficulties. He was 6, and he had ADHD and rages and all sorts of other um, maladies that were affecting him and affecting the family. And he was dealing with psychologists and psychiatrists and just all sorts of really tough stuff. And he had refused to read a book in a long time. And so, no matter what she would try, she couldn't get him to read a book. And he saw the book on her nightstand and he picked it up and started thumbing through it. And they ended up reading it together. And by the time she wrote me this letter that I'll save forever, they had been reading it every night and laughing before bed, which she said was something he hadn't done in such a long time. And so that was the first like milestone for me. And that's the thing ultimately that means the most to me, no matter what level of commercial success it's attained or accolades and awards that it's won. um, Ultimately, the micro stuff is the most rewarding. The idea that we've gotten anecdotal feedback from parents of kids who have experienced, who have found this little hero and this reason to keep on keeping on when things were really bleak. That's those have been the biggest highlights for me.
yeah, I think one not necessarily like challenge, but just learning curve was thinking about like what are the stories that I watched and loved and remember from my childhood, both of us from our respective childhoods and different generations, and what are the stories that and characters and songs that we feel like would have been beneficial to have, and writing from that place of like responsibility and wanting to like fulfill that. I also am just I've been a fan of Dule Hill for my entire life, and Psych is my favorite show, and I am just obsessed with him. And the idea that his voice is one of these characters, just the show ends with him saying, "Let's go, go, go." Um, from the moment of being able to write to him and even ask him to consider being involved in this, and then seeing his immediate response, just all of the actors and everyone who was involved, I'm so grateful. But I think a huge memorable moment for me was hearing Dule Hill read words that I had written, because it just felt more real than it had before. And also working on the day to day with a women led team. There were 6 women, including myself, that were kind of in the day to day of the production of this. That is just so rare. And it's not lost on me how many aspects of this incredible experience are so rare. And it's a story about the power of kindness and love and inclusion. Like, what a gift to be able to work on something that I stand by 100%, because I know that that's rare too, and really feels great.
Great. Thank you for that. One last super quick question. What was it like working with such a great cast?
Oh my God, dream come true. Well, we're like super fans of every single one of them. So it's like pretty unbelievable to have their like energy. It's just like the ultimate honor to have each of them capture just the essence of these characters, have them just leap off the page and become so much more real and just dazzling and understood. Um, I told you I'm obsessed with Dule. Lee is just the exact ray of sunshine that she sounds like and seems, and brought just like Lulu's kind of signature like warmth and hopefulness. She brought this like just emotional nuance and just maturity and care to it that was so unbelievable. Utkar Shambudkar is just like the perfect hip hop, because he's just like charming and quirky and curious. Obviously, Alex Newell has not just the best voice that I've ever heard, probably the best voice that any human person has ever had in the history of existence. And also, they just bring this like glamorous, well intended friend to life that we dreamed about for so long. And then we have Paul Rust, who is just the perfect, misunderstood, misguided antagonist. And you just empathize with him and you just want him to feel better. And he was so down to just sing and play and try things, and to have that level of talent, of voices, and truly also the ensemble cast, which I mean, everyone in the ensemble played multiple roles, and everyone who lent their voices to all of the characters, even the background characters. Like, we really have some stars. Lolo Spencer is one of the other like voices in it, who plays Sal the squirrel, and she's just like such a dream. It was all just every single one of them, just such a dream.
Great. Thank you guys so
Yeah.
much.
I would
Oh,
just
go
take that
ahead.
one step further and say that, I've been in the music business since I was 18, and I've had the opportunity to work with some of the most talented and brightest stars of the past few generations. But it's still just humbling to see our work brought to life in such a faithful, um, you know,
Thoughtful,
inspirational,
yeah.
aspirational, and glorious way by these gifted artists, the ones who we love so much from this generation. And yeah, I mean, the best word I can think of is humbling. And I'm just so excited for everyone to experience it, and so grateful to them for lending us a little piece of their respective magic.
Great. Thank you guys.
Thank you.